Okay, today I'm going to show you how to factor polynomials, whether it be a binomial or a trinomial, by factoring out the greatest common factor and finding the other factor. So I'm going to do the model problems according to our steps. We are going to first expand each individual term by finding all factors of the coefficients and variables. So here we are factoring a binomial. So I'm going to write each term of my binomial, and I'm going to find each set of factors of each coefficient and expand our variables. So for 12x squared, my factors are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Those are all my available factors for 12. And expanding x squared would be x times x. For 18x, I have 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and 3 times 6. And let me write that a little bit farther apart. And the only variable I have is x, and that's the only expanded form because it's x to the first power. Now looking at all my coefficients, set of factors, I want to identify the largest factor all terms have in common and the same number of like variables they have in common as well. So they have 1 in common, 2 in common, 3 in common, and also 6. Now, the largest factor they have in common is the 6. That's the largest. So I'm just going to get rid of my circles here. All right. And for the x's, I can also pull out an x from each term. I can't pull out any more than one x for each of them because the 18x only has one x to give. So there is my greatest common factor. So now I want to express each term as a product of the greatest common factor and the leftovers of the other factor. So what I mean by that, so 6x is my first factor. What is my second factor? What are my leftovers? So 6 for 12x squared divided by 6x, 12 divided by 6 is 2, x squared divided by x is x. So what that means, if you look at the set of factors here too, we pulled out the 6 for our greatest common factor, the 2 is left over. We pulled out the x for our greatest common factor, there's an x left over. Also for 18x, we bring down the plus sign, that's first. For our 18x, 18 divided by 6 is 3, and x was taken away, so there is no more x's left over. So 6x times 2x plus 3 is our final answer. Now we're going to factor the following trinomial. Now sometimes we don't have to do this portion of we can just see what the greatest common factor is. If you could see what the greatest common factor is between 10, 25, and 5, you would notice that the GCF is 5. There is no x because the first factor and the second factor are the first term and the second term are the only two terms that have an x. The 15 does not. So what I'm going to do now is divide each term by 5. Each term by 5, and we get 10x squared divided by 5 is 2x squared. 25x divided by 5 is 5x, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. There's our leftovers, and that would be our final answer. Now you can pause the video for a second and try the check for understanding yourself. Okay, now we're going to factor the greatest common factor of 2x to the fourth minus 8x to the third plus 4x, and our greatest common factor of 2, 8, and 4 is 2, and our greatest common factor of x to the fourth, x to the third, x is x, and our leftovers, if we divide each term by 2x, we get x to the third minus 4x to the second, because remember, 3 minus 1 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3, and then 4x divided by 2x is 2. And you can distribute back to see if we get the polynomial